This one.
That one, it's that one too, Elliot.
How you been, man?
Oh man, I've been alright. Been alright.
Sound like you got some stuff going on.
So I'm not a big Mardi Gras guy.
I can tell you I'm not either.
They asked me to get in this ball and this king of this parade.
Oh, congratulations. But one time was okay. I did it one time. King of James. And you know what? It was fun. When it was on. And it was
Okay.
we got it down to 1 point.
Okay.
And done right. It's gonna be done right.
Okay. Okay.
Like this, one of the first commercials. Did you stay last night? Ready to start okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Where do you stay when you come? I got the
Okay.
done with that. I said, how did it say? Right there.
Great.
Well, right there. Roy, let him go. Let him have it.
You had almost put him under, I think.
Did y'all have a penny for dinner?
It's tonight.
Oh, it's tonight.
Yeah, tonight. I'm doing the Colonel's Club.
Okay.
We'll catch you next time.
I know Jeremy Hudson.
Is it on?
And he's like the head of
Okay.
New Orleans.
Oh, yeah. I've only met him on Zoom.
Good morning. Can we get a roll call, please?
Elliot Temple.
Here.
Curtis Joseph.
Here.
Dodie Adams.
Here.
James Fine.
Here.
Brandon Golsom.
Here.
Travis Manso.
Here.
Frank Morris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, Mr. Fine, could you lead us in the pledge?
Yes, everybody please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Starks, could you give us a brief introduction?
Good morning, everyone. Excuse me. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tamika Starks, and I am an Assistant Attorney General with the Louisiana Department of Justice, and I'll be presiding over today's administrative hearings, which will be conducted pursuant to the Louisiana Administrative Act of Louisiana and the Board's administrative rules set forth. I will govern the procedure which we operate, administer oaths and affirmations, and rule on the admissibility of evidence, and ensure due process for all participants during the hearing. However, the board will make all findings of facts and conclusions of law. Also, while this is not a court of law, we will follow the procedures established in the Administrative Procedure Act, and we ask for decorum and order in these proceedings. If any board member needs to recuse themselves from this matter, please do so, and the board will make note of that. If there are any questions from any of the participants in this proceeding, please let me know during the hearing so we can address them. Before we begin, please silence all cell phones. Thank you.
All right. Consideration for the minutes.
Move to accept.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any objection? Motion carries. Mr. Beavers, any introductions?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
Come on, sir.
If we could begin by swearing in the staff investigators, the following people: Robert Mertens, Jared Watson, Darlene Borg, David Ham, Frank Vaughn, Shannon Zagona, Carrie Morgan, Ludger Cockerham, and myself.
Can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Thank you.
And I believe we do have someone for public comment.
Public comments? Anyone wish to speak for public comment? All right.
I'd like to thank the board for letting me make a few comments. I know he has paid a fine, but Chuck Boudreaux with Garden District Patios did a 900 square foot or a little better outdoor kitchen for me and my wife, which we had planned and saved for a long time. He represented himself as a general contractor who was insured. Come to find out he was not. No 811 call was made before this project started, before any ground was broken. No parish permits were pulled from the project, resulting in serious problems getting electricity. My wife and I were told we were getting a professionally engineered structure made for wind load in our area. It is not. 10 by 10 posts were used instead of the 12 by 12s as in the contract. No concrete footings under posts as stated in the contract. No 30-inch deep burial of posts with concrete column all the way up to the pavement or the concrete slab on top. The structure started spreading before the final cleanup was done. The ridge beam was spliced. Concrete started cracking within 3 months of the being poured, and cracks are completely through. One corner has fell 5/8 of an inch, about 10 feet in each direction. The concrete analysis showed substandard concrete. It didn't make 3,000-pound mix. It was supposed to be between 3 and 4. The structure was incorrectly tied into the home at the orders of Chuck to his framers to save money. The framers actually we're in a civil case, and the framers are actually going to testify. He cut the materials in half to save money on this project. And it was over $60,000 just for the material and labor on that part. The structure has moved 5/8 out and sways in a 20-mile-per-hour wind. The rafters are now crushing into the gutters. I had to hire a roofer on my own to patch the roof where Chuck pulled shingles off for his architect to look at it, the way it was tied into the home, and the architect agreed it was not tied in correctly. Chuck did not and has not answered any calls or texts since September 25th, 24. October 22nd of 24, I hired a professional engineer to assess the complete structure. His findings show a very inferior job and will probably be cheaper to tear down the structure and start over. My wife and I dreamed and saved for years to do this, and now what we're dealing with is a nightmare by an unscrupulous and uninsured contractor. And I have the engineer reports. I don't know if y'all want to put these in a file.
You can give them to Mr. Beavers, and
But
we'll do that.
these are my comments, and like I say, it is in civil court now. I want to thank you for your time.
Absolutely appreciate it, and sorry you're having to go through that. And just so you know, and for future reference, there's a way for you to check to make sure that all of these contractors are qualified and have all the proper licenses. And if you can get with some of these ladies in the back, they can help you and teach you on how to verify all that kind of stuff.
Sir.
All right?
Well, I was a contractor in the state of Louisiana at one time. Back in '85, I believe I got my first license, but it was in heavy construction.
Right.
Pipelines and that type of stuff. My son became a general, so. But I do thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. All right, new business, Compton Builders.
Compton Builders LLC, are any representatives present?
Let the record reflect that no one is present for Compton Builders LLC.
Compton Builders LLC, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 22125 Walker Street in Plaquemine, Louisiana, in the amount of $97,300.
Call Robert Mertens.
Mr. Mertens has been sworn.
Mr. Mertens, in front of you are exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular and ordinary course of business of the Licensing Board for Contractors for this matter involving Compton Builders?
Yes, sir.
Who offered the exhibits into the record?
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 are admitted.
According to the exhibits, it appears that Compton Builders was provided with notice of its violation of this hearing by certified mail. Is that correct?
Yes.
Also shows that Compton Builders entered into an agreement to perform or performed construction work in the amount of $97,300. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it was on a residential structure? Is that correct?
Yes.
And did not possess licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We in the amount of $97,300. $97,300. Is that correct?
Yes.
We submit to the board that Compton Builders LLC is in violation of Louisiana contractors licensing laws for failure to possess a residential contractor's license and performing work or agreeing to perform construction work in the amount of $97,300 on a residential structure. Ask that you find them guilty of the violation, issue the appropriate fines and costs.
Move to find them guilty, maximum fine of $9,730, style and hearing costs, cease and desist.
Second.
I had a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
H. Bodden Renovations LLC, are any representatives present?
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you state your name, sir, and your affiliation with the company?
Yeah, my name is Hanford Bowden, and I'm the owner of H. Bowden Renovation.
Okay. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you.
H. Bowden Renovations LLC of Slidell, Louisiana, is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 2351 Bearman Highway, New Orleans, Louisiana, in the amount of $154,250. This is their second violation In February of 2017, they pled no contest to mold remediation without a license and paid $1,000 in fines plus $1,000 in costs. They applied for a commercial license in 2011 but failed to follow through. They held a home improvement registration from January of 2011 to January of 2013, and they have held their current home improvement registration since December of 2020, and they obtained a commercial rigging, house moving, wrecking, and dismantling license in August of 2023.
Mr. Bowden, how do you plead to the allegations?
I'm not complaining.
Guilty, not guilty, no contest. Do you need to explain? No contest? Okay.
Move to accept.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any objection? Please accept it.
Call Jared Watson.
Mr. Watson has been sworn.
Mr. Watson, in front of you, exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of licensing board for contractors for this matter involving H. Bodden?
Yes, they were.
We submit the exhibits into the record.
Ms. Bowden, do you have any objection to those documents being admitted into the record?
No.
No objection. Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 are admitted.
Mr. Watson, according to the records, it appears that H. Bodden Renovations performed work on a residential structure in a total amount of $154,250. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And did not possess licensing with this board to perform that residential work. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Bowden, do you have any questions for this witness? Counsel, are you,
Have no other witnesses.
okay. Ms. Bowden, do you want to make an offer to the board as to a penalty?
Can I offer $3,000?
You can ask them.
Can I offer $3,000?
Can offer it.
Hold on, I didn't hear. Is it 3,000 he said?
He
Yeah,
said
3,000.
3,000.
So, do you want to break that up into 2,000 and 1,000?
I'll move to do that.
Second.
Okay.
Do you understand, while you're here, could you give us any background or anything on what happened?
On the complaint? Or she made a complaint about, her AC heater went out,
Uh-huh.
and she put one of those Google Nests and went into heater and AC and burned the heater element. I went back and fixed it for her after she did the complaint here. I know I don't possess a license, I admit it, but the job is done right.
So what's the plan for your licensing?
That's what I was about to ask, that's right.
My plans is, I'm getting one by one. I got my commercial license, I got my home improvement. I want to upgrade after in the future.
You do want to upgrade?
I want to upgrade.
Okay, all right.
At the cost of construction today, I'm sure you know you need to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, great. All right. So what are the board wishes? He has an offer for 2,000 plus 1,000. Do we want to make
So
an addition to it?
if we give you some incentive, it'd be better, okay? So I'm going to move that we accept your offer with the fact that you will get a upgraded license to residential in 180 days.
Okay,
That way, we know that you're going to move forward with that, and then we don't have to see you again.
okay.
So, there's no incentive in that? So, is the incentive that you're going to drop that offer, or?
Or change it,
Because he made an offer of 2,000 and 1,000.
right?
And you say you want him to get a license in 180 days, or you're going to get, what's the incentive in him doing that?
The incentive is that we're going to accept his offer.
So
No, we're going to accept his offer, and if he
If he
doesn't
doesn't.
fulfill his requirements, then he will be fined in full.
That's
Okay,
right.
well, that
Full fine,
That's
and
exactly my intent.
so I'd like to make
So is
a
there,
motion and...
is there a substitute motion?
A substitute, yes.
Okay.
And I'll accept that.
We got it clear for the record, counsel?
Yeah, barely. Can you repeat your motion?
Motion, please.
Okay, the motion is that he has the 3,000, 1,000 fine.
Two and one, 2,000, 1,000.
2,000, 1,000. As long as he gets his license in 100, we said 180 days. If not, if he doesn't fulfill that obligation, then he is fined in full the $15,425 and $1,000 for court cost.
All right. You got a second?
I
Second?
second that.
So that's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Do you understand what's going on? Do you understand the motion now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. We got a motion and a second. Any discussion, any objection? Motion carries.
Good luck.
Good deal.
Dontel DJ George Jr., doing business as Bulldog Contracting and Roofing. Are any representatives present?
The record reflect that no one is present on behalf of Dontel DJ George Jr., DBA Bulldog Contracting and Roofing.
Dontel DJ George Jr., doing business as Bulldog Contracting and Roofing of Katy, Texas, is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 2021 Fifth Street in Lake Charles, Louisiana, in the amount of $8,400.
Call Robert Mertens.
Mr. Mertens has been sworn.
Mr. Mertens, in front of you are exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business or licensing board for contractors for Dontel DJ George Jr.?
Yes, sir.
Refer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 are admitted.
According to the exhibits, it appears that Mr. George was served with notice of this hearing by posting on the door of his last known address in Jennings, Louisiana. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
Also shows that he performed residential work in the amount of $8,400 without possessing the necessary licensing with this board. Is that correct?
Yes.
We submit to the board that Dontel DJ George Jr., doing business as Bulldog Contracting and Roofing, is in violation of Louisiana contractors' licensing laws for failure to possess the necessary licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure in the amount of $8,400. We ask that you find him guilty of the violation, issue the appropriate fines and costs.
Move to find him guilty, maximum fine of $840, $1,000 hearing costs. Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Riptide Construction LLC, are any representatives present?
Let the record reflect that no one is present on behalf of Riptide Construction LLC.
Riptide Construction LLC of Lockport, Louisiana, is before you today for consideration of alleged violations for willful misrepresentation of fact by an applicant in obtaining a license and for problems relating to the ability of the contractor to engage in the business of contracting at multiple locations in the amount of $180,000.
Call Jared Watson.
Mr. Watson has been sworn.
Mr. Watson, in front of you are exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of the licensing board for contractors?
Yes, they are.
We offer those exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 are admitted.
Mr. Watson, according to the records, it appears that Riptide Construction LLC was provided with notice of its violation and of this hearing by certified mail. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It also shows that, according to exhibits number 2, A, B, C, and D, that we have multiple complaints regarding Riptide Construction LLC's performance of its construction obligations. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And just explain briefly to the board what those complaints entail.
Mostly, they were just getting paid to do the work and not perform any of it. He has numerous.
So in other words, these various homeowners paid to Riptide Construction down payments or initial deposits to perform work, and the work was not performed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right. And then there's also complaints in documents related to other violations involving arrests and convictions related to Paul Smith. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And part of the violations that he's here before the board today is that he had actual criminal charges or actual convictions against him at the time that he made an application with this board for a license. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And in those applications, he failed to note that he had a previous history of a criminal conviction. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It also noted that he's had since then been arrested for various other alleged crimes, including misapplication of contractor funds, writing worthless checks, and those types of charges. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And some of those have not yet gone to trial, but they are pending. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And as we're presenting here today, we're arguing that and presenting to the board that Riptide Construction LLC is in violation of the contractor's licensing laws with problems in the performance of his contractor obligations under 37:2158A11. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And also willful misrepresentation in his application to obtain a license under 2158A2. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the documents contained in these exhibits support those allegations. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We're asking the board that Riptide Construction LLC's license be revoked as a result of the numerous complaints made against Riptide and the acceptance of deposits for construction and non-performance of work. And additionally, because of the misrepresentations that were made in the application regarding in obtaining a license, which included a failure to report prior criminal convictions. So thus, we're asking that the Riptide Construction LLC's license be revoked and that Mr. Smith's qualifying, does he have qualifying porter status? Paul Smith?
It doesn't say on here.
Did you apply for
He held a home improvement registration from April of 2020.
All right, we're not going to go to the qualifying party status because we didn't provide notice with him on that. So we're just going to ask that the Riptide Construction LLC's license be revoked and appropriate fines and costs be issued.
Move to revoke the license of Riptide Construction LLC and to assign a maximum fine of $18,000, $1,000 hearing costs, cease and desist. I guess we don't need one for that, right? No. Cease and desist? Doesn't matter. All right. That's my motion.
Second. I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Dwayne Fraser, are any representatives present?
Let the record reflect that no one is present on behalf of Dwayne Frazier.
Dwayne Frazier of Houghton, Louisiana is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 501 Kirby Place in Shreveport, Louisiana, in the amount of $9,500.
Call Jared Watson.
Mr. Watson has been sworn.
Mr. Watson, in front of you, exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular and ordinary course of business of licensing board for contractors?
Yes, they were.
We'll offer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 admitted.
Mr. Watson, it appears that Dwayne Frazier entered into an agreement to perform work on a residential structure in the amount of $9,500. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And at the time that Mr. Frazier entered into that agreement to perform the construction work or started to perform construction work, did not possess licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We submit to the board that Dwayne Frazier is in violation of Louisiana contractor's licensing laws for failure to possess licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure in the amount of $9,500. We ask that you find him guilty of the violation, issue the appropriate fines and costs.
Would have found him guilty, magnified of $950, $1,000 hearing costs, cease and desist.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
The next item is T&D Carpentry Enterprises LLC. Their attorneys requesting a continuance pending resolution of the criminal case.
We have no opposition.
All right.
Need a motion.
Need a motion and a second.
Move to accept the continuance.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any objection? Motion carries. Continue.
Prestige Restoration and Cleaning Services LLC. Are any representatives present?
Let the record reflect that no one is present on behalf of Prestige Restoration and Cleaning Services, LLC.
Prestige Restoration and Cleaning Services LLC of Destrehan, Louisiana is before you today for consideration of alleged violations for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing Louisiana State Contractors licenses for home improvement and mold remediation at 1208 Louisiana Avenue, Lake Charles, Louisiana, in the amount of $19,995.
Call Robert Mertens.
Mr. Mertens has been sworn.
Mr. Mertens, in front of you, exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of the licensing board for contractors involving this matter of Prestige Restoration?
Yes, sir.
We'll offer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 admitted.
According to the records, it appears that Prestige Restoration and Cleaning Services, LLC, into an agreement to perform construction work on a residential structure, including mold remediation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
And in that work value was $19,995. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And at the time, Prestige Restoration and Cleaning Services did not possess licensing with this board to perform mold remediation or residential construction work. Is that correct?
That is correct.
We submit to the board that Prestige Restoration and Cleaning Services LLC is in violation of Louisiana contractors' licensing laws for failure to possess necessary licensing with this board to perform mold remediation or residential construction work in the total amount of $19,995. We ask that you find them guilty of the violation and issue the appropriate fines and costs.
Move to find him guilty, maximum fine of $1,999.50. Final no hearing costs, cease and desist.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Wild Buck Constructions LLC, or any representatives present?
The clerk reflect the names present for Wild Buck Constructions, LLC.
Wild Buck Constructions LLC of Baton Rouge, Louisiana is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 587 Florida Avenue Southeast, Denham Springs, Louisiana, in the amount of $133,921.49.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Call Robert Mertens.
Mr. Mertens has been sworn.
Mr. Mertens, in front of you are exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of the licensing board for contractors for this matter involving Wild Buck Construction LLC?
Yes, sir.
It appears from the documents that Wild Buck Construction LLC was provided with notice of the violation and of this hearing date by certified mail. Is that correct?
That's correct.
It also shows that Wild Buck Construction LLC entered into a contract to perform construction work in the amount of $133,921.49. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And that was on a residential residential property, is that correct?
Yes.
And at one time, they possessed a home improvement registration but did not possess a residential contractor's license at the time of this quote. Is that correct?
That is correct.
We submit to the board that Wild Buck Construction LLC was in violation of Louisiana contractors' licensing laws for issuing an estimate prior to licensing in the amount of $133,921.49. We ask that you find them guilty of the violation, issue the appropriate fines and costs.
Counsel, before you submit to the board, would you like to admit these documents into evidence?
Submit the exhibits into the record.
Okay. Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 admitted.
Submit to the board for consideration.
Move to find him guilty, maximum fine of $13,392.15. Final no hearing costs, cease and desist.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on Wild Buck. He living up to his name on that one.
So, and just so you know, he did get a license.
He did?
But he got it after he issued the estimate, and then it has expired, so there's not a current license.
I got you. Okay. So we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
E&J Services LLC, or any representatives present?
The clerk reflect the names present on behalf of E&G Services, LLC.
E&J Services LLC of Plaquemine, Louisiana is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 1033 West Worthy Road, Gonzales, Louisiana, the amount of $46,312.65.
Call Robert Mertens.
Mr. Mertens has been sworn.
Mr. Mertens, in front of you are exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of licensing board for contractors for this matter?
Yes, sir.
We'll offer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 admitted.
Mr. Mertens, according to the records, it appears that E&J Services LLC was provided with notice of this hearing by email and certified mail. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And also notice of its violations by email and certified mail. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the total amount of the work performed by E&J Services, $46,312.65 was performed on a residential structure. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that included labor and materials. Is that correct?
Yes.
And at the time, E&J Services LLC did not possess licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure. Is that correct?
Yes.
We submit to the board that E&J Services LLC is in violation of Louisiana contractors' licensing laws for failure to possess necessary licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure in the amount of $46,312.65. We ask that you find them guilty of the violation, issue the appropriate fines and costs.
Move to find them guilty, maximum fine of $4,631.27. Down only here, cost cease and desist.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Boss Construction LLC, or any representatives present?
Let the record reflect that no one is present on behalf of Boss Construction LLC.
Boss Construction LLC of Baton Rouge, Louisiana is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 1128 Sinbad Street, Baker, Louisiana, in the amount of $24,151.
Call Robert Mertens.
Mr. Mertens has been sworn.
Mr. Mertens, in front of you are exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of the licensing board for contractors for this matter involving Boss Construction?
Yes, sir.
We offer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 are admitted.
According to the records, it appears that Boss Construction LLC was provided with notice of its violation of this hearing by certified mail. Is that correct?
Yes.
The records also show that Boss Construction LLC entered into an agreement or provided a contract to perform work on a residential structure in the amount of $24,151. Is that correct?
Yes.
And at the time, Boss Construction did not possess licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure. Is that correct?
Yes.
We submit to the board that Boss Construction LLC is in violation of Louisiana contractors' licensing laws for failure to possess licensing with this board and agreeing to perform work or performing work on a residential construction project in the amount of $24,151. We ask that you find them guilty of the violation and issue the appropriate fines and costs.
Move to find them guilty, maximum fine of $2,415.10. Down only here, cost cease and desist.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Equity Custom Builders LLC, or any representatives present?
Let the record reflect that no one is present on behalf of Equity Custom Builders LLC.
Equity Custom Builders LLC of DeSoto, Texas is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 3702 Lionel Street, Monroe, Louisiana, in the amount of $214,015.20.
Call Jared Watson.
Mr. Watson has been sworn.
Mr. Watson, in front of you, we have exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of the licensing board for contractors for this matter involving Equity Custom Builders LLC?
Yes, they were.
According to the records, it appears, we offer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 are admitted.
According to the records, it appears that Equity Custom Builders LLC, and I just want to point this out, at page 96 of the records in exhibit number 4, signed a green card showing receipt of this violation and of this hearing date. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then at page 98, which is also made part of this record, there was a letter returned saying refused on it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
But the green card had been removed and had been signed for. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So, in fact, Equity Custom Builders LLC was provided with notice of its violation of this hearing date. Is that correct?
That's correct.
According to the signed green card. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it appears that Equity Custom Builders LLC entered into an agreement or provided an estimate to perform construction work on a residential structure in the amount of $214,015.20. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And at the time, Equity Custom Builders LLC did not possess licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We submit to the board that Equity Custom Builders LLC is in violation of Louisiana contractors' licensing laws for failure to possess necessary licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure in the amount of $214,015.20 in Louisiana, and ask that you find them guilty of the violation and issue the appropriate fines and costs.
Find guilty, maximum fine of $21,401.52. Down on later, cost cease and desist.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Andrew Alvarado, doing business as Trident HVAC, or any representatives present.
Let the record reflect the notice present on behalf of Andrew Alvarado, DBA Trident HVAC, sorry.
We have a settlement offer. Andrew Alvarado, doing business as Trident HVAC of La Place, Louisiana, is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 4341 San Remo Road, New Orleans, Louisiana, in the amount of $31,101.64. This is his first violation. He has not applied but stated he is no longer in this line of work. He's offering a no contest plea, $1,000 fine plus $1,000 costs.
Call Robert Mertens.
Mr. Mertens has been sworn.
Mr. Mertens, in front of you, exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4, were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of the licensing board for contractors involved, for this matter involving Andrew Alvarado?
Yes.
We'll offer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 admitted.
We submit the settlement offer for consideration.
Move to accept.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. All right.
Handy Works Construction, LLC, or any representatives present.
Let the record reflect the notice present on behalf of Handy Works Construction, LLC.
Handy Works Construction, LLC of Houma, Louisiana, is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 1842 Highway 1 in Grand Isle, Louisiana, in the amount of $47,552.83.
Call Dialing Board.
Ms. Brooks has been sworn.
So, Board, in front of you, exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4, were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of the licensing board for contractors for this matter?
Yes, they were.
We'll offer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 admitted.
According to the records, it appears that Handy Works was provided with notice of its violation and of its hearing date by certified mail. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Also shows that Handy Works Construction entered into an agreement to perform construction work on a residential structure and performed construction work in the amount of $47,552.83. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And at the time, Handy Works did not possess licensing with this board to perform work on a residential structure. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We submit to the board that Handy Works Construction LLC is in violation of Louisiana contractors' licensing laws for failure to possess the necessary licensing with this board and performing work on a residential construction project in the amount of $47,552.83. We ask that you find them guilty of the violation and issue the appropriate fines and costs.
We found him guilty, maximum fine of $4,755.28, down on the hearing cost, cease and desist.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Global Industrial Contractors, LLC, or any representatives present.
Let the record reflect the notice present on behalf of Global Industrial Contractors, LLC.
Global Industrial Contractors, LLC of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for entering into a contract with an unlicensed contractor, Handy Works Construction, LLC, at 1842 Highway 1 in Grand Isle, Louisiana, in the amount of $47,552.83.
Call Dialing Board.
Mr. Bork has been sworn.
Mr. Bork, in front of you, exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business of the licensing board for contractors for this matter involving Global Industrial Contractors?
Yes, they were.
We'll offer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 admitted.
According to the records, it also appears that Global Industrial Contractors was provided with notice of its violation and of this hearing date by certified mail. Is that correct?
That's correct.
The records also show that Global Industrial Contractors entered into an agreement with Handy Works to perform work on a residential project in the amount of $47,552.83. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And at the time, Handy Works did not possess licensing with this board to perform residential construction work. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And so the violation is Global Industrial Contractors entered into a contract with an unlicensed contractor to perform residential construction work. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We submit to the board that Global Industrial Contractors LLC is guilty of entering into a contract with an unlicensed contractor to perform residential work in the amount of $47,552.83. We ask that you find him guilty of the violation and issue the appropriate fines and costs.
Move to find him guilty, maximum fine of $4,755.28, down all the hearing cost, cease and desist.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries.
Emmanuel Thomas Jr., or any representatives present.
Let the record reflect that no one is present on behalf of Emmanuel Thomas Jr.
We have a settlement offer. Emmanuel Thomas Jr. of Monroe, Louisiana is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 305 Nevada Drive in Monroe, Louisiana, in the amount of $44,260. This is his first violation. He has not applied, but stated he is no longer in this business. He's offering no contest plea, $1,000 fine plus $1,000 costs.
Call Jared Watson.
Mr. Watson has been sworn.
Mr. Watson, in front of you, exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business, a license and board for contractors involving this matter?
Yes, they were.
We'll offer the exhibits into the record.
Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 admitted.
And I haven't been saying this, but according to the exhibits, Mr. Watson, it appears that Mr. Emmanuel Thomas has made an offer, a settlement offer to this board. Is that correct?
That's correct.
We submit to the board, we submit the settlement offer for consideration to the board.
Would accept.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. All right.
All citations have been paid.
We want to submit the documents into the record involving Hubbard Premium Remodeling LLC to 2024-0812-02, Charles Gray Construction Company LLC, 2024-0742-01, Gordon District Patios LLC, 2024-1158-01, and Kenneth Brown, 2024-0428-01. Ms. Morgan, were all those documents prepared in the regular ordinary course of business, a license and board for contractors for those matters?
Yes.
And we'll offer those records into the, we'll offer those documents into the record.
Exhibits for case number 2024-0812-02, Hubbard Premier Remodeling LLC are admitted. Exhibits for 2024-0742, excuse me, 01, Charles Gray Construction Company LLC are admitted. Exhibits for 2024-1158-01, Garden District Patios LLC are admitted. Exhibits for case number 2024-0128-01, Kenneth Brown are admitted.
Submit the citations for approval.
Would accept.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any objection? Motion carries.
Under rehearings, Bel Air Building Enterprises, LLC, or any representatives present.
I think we gotta get a motion to rehear, I think.
We need a motion.
Move to accept, rehearing.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to rehear. Any objection? Motion carries.
Sir, can you state your name and your affiliation with the company?
Jason Bell, owner of Bel Air Building Enterprises, LLC.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bel Air Building Enterprises, LLC of Slidell, Louisiana is before you today for consideration of an alleged violation for acting as a contractor to perform work without possessing a Louisiana State Contractor's License at 130 Mall Dancer Court, Pearl River, Louisiana, amount of $256,835.73. This was their first violation. They held residential licenses from 2000 to 2002, from 2005 to 2006, from 2009 to 2010, and from April of 2017 to April of '22.
Mr. Bell, how do you plead to the allegations? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
Not guilty.
Okay.
Not guilty. All right.
What did he plead, not guilty?
Got not guilty.
Not guilty.
All right, call Robert Mertens.
Mr. Mertens been sworn.
Ms. Mertens, in front of you are exhibits number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Were they prepared in the regular ordinary course of business, a license and board for contractors?
Yes, sir.
We'll offer the exhibits into the record.
Mr. Bell, do you have any objections to those documents being entered to the record? No objection. Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 are admitted.
Mr. Mertens, according to the documents, it appears that at Exhibit 2B, page 8, that there's a contract with with the name Bel Air Building Enterprises, is that correct?
Yes.
And what's the total amount of that contract amount?
The amount of the contract was $256,835.73.
And the contract was to perform residential construction work, is that correct?
Yes.
And it appears that the residential construction work was at Lot 6, Pearl River Trace in Pearl River, Louisiana, is that correct?
Yes.
Was it a new construction?
Yes.
And what's the date of that contract?
The date of the contract is,
Is it October 6, 2021?
that's correct, October 6th of 2021.
Wait, could you repeat that?
October 6, 2021.
October 6, 2021, is that correct?
Yes.
And so, right, that's fine. If you go to Exhibit 2C, there's a date of a payment there of on May 24th, 2022, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And it's $5,000, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Then there's another payment on May 24th. Well, actually, let's see, yeah. It appears to be an advance on a loan of $43,000, but there's a payment of May 27th of $6,398, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And then on the next page, at page 12, there's a payment of, I guess that's the $6,398 payment. If you go to the next page, at page 13, there's another payment to Jason Bell in the amount of $10,000 dated May 27th, 2022, is that correct?
Yes.
If you go to Exhibit 14 and 15, pages 14 and 15, there's a payment on June 2nd, 2022, in the amount of $9,213.97, is that correct?
Yes.
If you go to page 16, there's a payment to Jason Bell amount, well, that's the $9,643. There's a payment at page 17 and 18 to Jason Bell of $5,000 for June 9th, 2022, is that correct?
Yes.
Page 20, there's a payment to Jason Bell of June 24th, 2022 for $6,000, is that correct?
Yes.
There's another payment to Jason Bell on 6/24/22 of $8,300, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And those payments are all coming from a Rayshawn Carson, that's for the project at issue, is that correct?
That's correct.
And then there's a payment for 59, at page 23, there's a payment of July 7th of 2022 for $5,920, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Again, to Jason Bell for this particular project, is that correct?
Yes.
Page 26, there's a payment of $5,910.50 from Jason Bell, to Jason Bell from Rayshawn Carson, is that correct?
Yes.
Again, that's for this residential construction project, is that correct?
Yes.
At the time of the work and the payments, Bel Air Building Enterprises LLC did not possess licensing with this board to perform residential construction work, is that correct?
That is correct.
I have no further questions.
Mr. Bell, do you have any questions for this witness?
I'm still trying to see when was the exact violation, because I know you stated my license was still active in 22.
You don't have any questions for me, for this witness?
Yeah. It was saying that my license was active up to 22, and then it's saying that the contract was in 22. I'm just trying to see where I didn't have a license.
I can't hear you, sir.
I said that all this is showing that I had a license in 22, all this happened in 22. I had a license in 22, I'm just trying to see like where was the violation if I had a license.
There was no license at the time of the contract, no. The contract was in...
I can explain. Mr. Bell, Your license, well, you did have a license in '21, but your license expired on April of 2022.
But the type of status is terminated.
You said it expired in April, Council?
In April of '22. And all the work occurred after, or at least the work I just talked about occurred after April of 2022.
So do you understand that, Mr. Bell? You did have a license in '22, but it expired in April of '22. The work that was being done was after that. That makes you in violation.
No, okay. Let me get my phone, one second.
I can ask Mr. Burton just to clarify. At page 34, Exhibit 3, page 32, 33, and 34, Mr. Mertens, it appears that at page 34 that there was a residential license that was issued to Bel Air Building. Is that correct? Well, the approved date was 4/20 of 2017. You see that?
Yes.
And then it shows an effective date of May 25th of 2021. Do you see that?
Yes.
And it shows an expiration date of April 20th of 2022. Is that correct?
Yes.
So at the time that work was being performed, although there was a contract during the license period, there was work performed on the residential structure outside of the license period. Is that correct?
That is correct.
No questions, no further questions of Mr. Mertens.
Any more questions for this witness?
Just one second, I'm just trying to see the renewal of my license that year. Sorry.
August, also his license had expired. July. That's July. June.
Can I ask the board, I can't access...
Right now, you can talk to them, and then you'll have your chance to talk to us.
Okay. Okay, well, no questions for me then.
Okay. All right.
I have no other witnesses.
Okay, Mr. Bell, do you have any witnesses? Do you want to testify on your behalf?
Now's your time. Now you can go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Can I just ask the board something? Can I ask the board?
Is there prerogative to answer?
Yeah, I just can't log into the site anymore to show my last license, so I was just trying to see if it's showing the last date of my license.
That's them, they're saying it expired.
They got everything on that, April of 2020.
Because the bank won't let me bill without having my license, and when I initially got the email, it was saying that I had that I thought I was coming for the 20th, February 20th, 2020 is what the violation was supposed to have been on.
There was some emails I saw here in the packet that indicated that somebody communicated with you and indicated from the beginning they thought they had you on the commercial list, but they informed you that the violation was residential and that you agreed to the 19th, which is today, right?
No, but they're saying, in that same email, it's showing that my violation was from 2020, so that's what I was prepared for. I didn't even know that my license didn't carry all the way through this construction. But the initial violation was for 2020, if you look inside that same email. Because I said, what was the violation for? Because I know I had my license the whole time.
So what's your intent moving forward, sir?
Well, I'm going to get reinstated, figure out whatever this fee is. I mean, this is the first time it's ever happened to me. I was going through some personal issues at the time, but I mean, I finished the home. All the stuff that's even inside of here is done with it because I take care of everything. I finished the home, beautiful home and everything. But I just did not know what the violation was for at this moment here. So, like I said, I apologize for that part.
All right.
And then, if like I said, without having a license, it might look like I might have a little lapse right there, but I know when I started everything, I did have the license. So if I do have anything, it might have been for the end of the construction, which, like I said, I apologize for that.
All good, but from the beginning, when she was reading giving us a rundown, it seemed as though your license was coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. So
Yeah.
it might be a calendaring issue, and you might want to be sure that you keep your license current if you're going to continue doing the work.
Correct.
Because it seemed like you're making yourself susceptible to these cracks.
Right. Yeah, I was actually in Atlanta, so I was just trying to keep it renewed, so I just moved back home, that's what it was.
Okay.
All right,
I'm pretty sure they can help you.
Yeah, I apologize for that, too.
all right. So, what are the wishes of the board?
So I'm going to move to fine you the maximum fine of $25,000.
Sorry, Mr. Morris, you have to,
You got to find them guilty.
yes, you have to find him guilty or not guilty.
Yeah, that's right. So I move to find guilty.
Okay.
Because obviously you know now that you violated in the sense of what the timing is that you thought, but not true, okay? So 2022, when your license expired, all these checks are written in June and on down, which is after the fact, okay? So anyway, I find you guilty, maximum fine of $25,683.53, $1,000 hearing cost to be reduced to $2,000 and $1,000 if you get your license within 180 days.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This is way over home improvement, so you really need to get your residential back in force, okay?
Gotcha.
All right, and you understand what the motion is, correct? So, you good? All right, any further discussion? Any objection? Motion carries. So you good, just pay the $2,000, $1,000?
Is that gonna also take I guess it's like a reversion once I pay it, will it take it off so I can renew it? Because right now I can't even get inside at all, because there's a block on it.
Oh, you,
So they've said that they're going to let you get a license, okay? They want you to get a license. So this board's going to help you get a license.
No, I understand, but what I'm asking was, there's like a block on it, like I can't even log in.
This is going to alleviate that. It's going to be,
Okay.
we're going to put you in a position to get your license.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yep.
His license has been expired for over a year, so by statute, it's terminated. He's going to have to make a new application, so there's nothing for him to access. So that it's not really a block, there's nothing there.
you just
So he
got
has
to go
apply
back
for a new
and go through the
license.
process.
Yeah.
Okay?
They'll walk you through it. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, good luck.
Julian E. Rodriguez Villa, doing business as JR Quality Builders, LLC. Are any representatives present?
Let the record reflect that no one is present for Julian E. Rodriguez, Villa, DBA JR Quality Builders, LLC.
Hold on one second.
Move to deny the request for rehearing.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any objection? Motion carries. All right.
I just want to put on the record that, Ms. Morgan, it appears from documents that you provided notice to Ms. Rodriguez regarding this hearing date. Is that
Yes, sir.
correct? And they haven't appeared here today, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, just want it in the record.
All right, classifications, residential licensing, page 5, let's go.
Make a motion, additional classifications being added to the residential license as listed and attached to the agenda be approved pending all requirements being met, beginning with Louisiana Foundation Repair LLC and ending with Walderworks LLC.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any objection? Motion carries.
Make a motion that the applications for residential licensure as listed and attached to the agenda be approved pending all requirements being met, beginning with 2D Design and Construction LLC and ending with Victory Venture Properties LLC.
Second.
I got a motion and a second, any objection? Motion carries.
Make a motion that the applications for home improvement registrations as listed and attached to the agenda be approved pending all requirements being met, beginning with 5X3 Restoration Services LLC and ending with Zulie's Rental LLC.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any objection? Motion carries. How about adjournment?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, we're out. All right. Good.
1 hour.
Time, I think that's a record. I think that's a record, Brad.
That's, yeah, I think that is.
Well, that's Sean's fault, I was trying to keep you here longer.
but we're so efficient, you know what I mean?
And we only three. He'll get better. He'll get better. If I could just remind you, y'all have adjourned, if I heard you
Yes, we
correctly.
did.
I'm not certain that your recording has been turned off as you leave.
Okay.
So you want us to lean into the mic when we say all that nice stuff about you?
Whatever your comments are, you own yourself.